Okay, Monday, 12th of May, 2025. So Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Money Monday, Bitcoin and everything else. Bitcoin is the apex predator in finance. Therefore, all roads lead to Bitcoin. Now, this is interesting, and this has got some interesting roots with regards to opportunity cost. When we say apex predator, we mean it's the top of the food chain, meaning there's nothing else stronger than it. Nothing else that's got a bigger CAGR, compounded annual growth rate, or nothing else that's more worthwhile, we could say, in terms of investments. If we look at Bitcoin returns versus other things, other asset returns, in the context of opportunity cost of capital. If I put £1 here, and it doubles to £2, but over here it goes to £1.10, the difference, that 90 pence, is the opportunity cost over same time period. And then when you look at Bitcoin's historical performance, and you think, well, £10 in this, on this day, back tested a year, 2, 3, 4, 10, whatever, whenever in the past, and it's priced now, compared to, say, another asset in the same time frame, that difference is the cost, the opportunity cost of capital. So when on that first principle, you can look at Bitcoin through, compared to any other asset, basically anything else, especially things that you have access to because of legislation, regulation, etc. You realize, and actually, why bother own this over here when, in terms of pure monetary units, or in terms of return, I might as well buy Bitcoin. There's no point. The key phrase there is no point. There is no point. In terms of return, opportunity cost of capital, again, why would you bother investing in this when this gives the same, gives more, same time period, more return? And we can go one step further, and I did a video about this, where Bitcoin risk and volatility are two separate things. Because ultimately you're shedding away third-party risk and trust. You're just trusting in maths. And I'm pretty sure I did a video about this, where Bitcoin is essentially, fundamentally, maths, physics, and computer science. Okay, but that's another conversation. And that analysis, opportunity cost, you realize that actually then it is the apex. There's very few things that would give you bigger return. So why bother? Now, on the 24th, I'm pretty sure it was a Monday as well, of November 2024, I did a video and I was in El Zonte, El Salvador. And I remember talking about how businesses that in the future that build on top of Bitcoin will be outpacing Bitcoin. Bitcoin will be the new benchmark. I did a video about that as well, actually. As it becomes the new benchmark, anything built on top of it will be Bitcoin plus its performance by any metric, based on their meritocracy. So then you realize that actually, when you really follow that logic, there's opportunity cost of capital of investing in these things over here versus Bitcoin. And then as things go into a Bitcoin standard, you'll be looking at, well, why would I invest in Bitcoin when this Bitcoin standard company, who is built on Bitcoin, they have been outperforming Bitcoin for, let's say, 5 years. I'm talking 20 years or so in the future, 15 years in the future. And they've been outperforming Bitcoin for the past 3, 5, 10, 7 years, as in 7 years in the future. Why would I buy Bitcoin 20 years, 15 years from now when this company's been outperforming it? Because it's built on top of Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin speed plus its own inertia. But that's way in the future. So it's the apex predator, unless there's a very specific, compelling, quantitative, not just qualitative, but a quantitative reason. Like standard of living, so to speak, or a sentimental reason to own something. Because I did this exact same calculation with different assets over the past few years. I was looking at this thing over here. Well, I thought, what's no point? This thing over here, what's the point over this? I was looking at a few interesting perpetual bonds. I'll keep it very simple and broad. And I thought, well, if I own this asset over the next 5, 10 years, well, the returns are going to be absolutely minimal compared to what Bitcoin could be, based on its past performance and all the rest, and understanding of the trajectory, the structure, the fundamentals, etc., the halvenings, whatever else. Okay, so why would I bother investing? Interesting. And I'm sure it was April 2021, I was looking at Luna. I was looking at it back then, and I said, 20%. and this is a very practical, down to earth anecdote, 20% per year interest. So if I take £100, put it in there, and over 5 years I get £100 back, £20 a year, and I thought, well, I'll put that £20 a year into Bitcoin. But then I thought about it a little more, and I thought, well, why would I do that? Because in 5 years, i.e. now it's 4 years, so 2026, April 2026, the price will be a lot higher. So that £20 subsequently would buy fewer and fewer Satoshis. I thought, what's the point in that? Opportunity cost of capital. Why would I bother? It's the new benchmark. If that 20% is not beating Bitcoin's growth, there's no point. Now, if you exclude the whole lunar crash and meltdown, that's different, because that's 5 years assuming it has longevity, which in hindsight it didn't. Fair enough. But that was the interesting calculation I did. Interesting. And that, as we do more of those, we realise there's no point. Why would I buy anything else other than Bitcoin, or subsequently in the future, a business built on top of Bitcoin? Just how in the same way you could say, why would I invest in a horse transport company, carriages, moving goods and people around on horseback, versus say a train company or a truck company, haulage? Why would I bother? It's just 10x different. It's just complete different. It's akin to that. It's like, oh, that company is steam powered versus that company is powered by electricity. Oh, I'm gonna invest in that one. Why? It's just 10x magnitude. It's just complete different possibility. It's a complete different phenotypic limit. As in, this company, electricity, can do a lot more in 24 hours than this company that's based on steam. Same with horses and cars. Same with fiat and Bitcoin. Interesting. And how do we know this? Just look at the charts. There's a nice mantra in trading. The trend is your friend. The trend is your friend. The trend is your friend. It's very nice and it's worth remembering. So if you go onto Google right now and you type in something like GBP to 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 BTC, so Great British Pound to Bitcoin, USD to BTC, Euro to BTC, and then ruble, rupee, Australian dollar, you name it. And you notice, if you do max, you notice every single chart, the trend is one direction, down and to the right. Meaning over time, the currency units, the smallest currency unit of that currency, 1 pence, buys fewer and fewer Satoshis. And you could essentially say that when that 1 pence, that smallest unit, doesn't even buy 1 Satoshi, that currency has gone to zero against Bitcoin. And that's not hyperbole, it's just maths. Again, what did I say earlier? Bitcoin is just maths, physics, and computer science. And one way that's being expressed is those charts, and it's consistent on these charts. And in fact, there's another website that talks about priced in Bitcoin, but I think it's not working exactly. But everything goes to zero against Bitcoin. Nice meme in the space, and that meme is expressed through these charts. And these charts is maths. It's human action quantified, really. And they all go one way, down and to the right. Interesting. Now, also another interesting little anecdote. A couple of years ago, I was thinking to put a short on a certain currency, but I thought, well, there's no point. My money would go further just by buying Bitcoin. But the only thing is, well, where's that Bitcoin today? Who knows? Whew, I don't know. Anyway, never mind. That's a whole other story. Just need to figure out where to buy Bitcoin now. I don't know. And another time. Another time I was thinking of placing a bet on a certain politician to win in a certain campaign. Now that bet would have worked out in the end, but I thought there's no point. The returns on that bet would be a lot less than just buying Bitcoin. Same with doing that short. That short would have won, would have been in profit, but there's no point. I'd make more. I'd earn more. There'd be more appreciation by buying Bitcoin. Interesting. I just got to figure out where to buy Bitcoin now. I don't know. I don't know where to buy it from. That opportunity cost of capital. Why place this bet if it's going to go from £1 to £1.10 versus over here £1 to £2, especially when you consider that risk and volatility are separated, they're not the same, Volatility is vitality, and risk is third-party risk. In a sense of trust, I'm hoping and trusting that these over here, this institution, are well managed. I'm hoping that the CEO of that company or the head of marketing over there doesn't get in a scandal or hit by a bus. I'm hoping I'm trust, but over here, Bitcoin, there is no trust. It just is. Again, it's mathematics. Fundamentally, again, Bitcoin is maths, physics, as in atoms, and computer science, code, fundamentally. And as long as 1 + 1 always equals 2, TikTok next block, there'll always be more blocks on the blockchain. Or even some would say timestamp, but that's a whole other conversation. But that's powerful. Apex predator. Bitcoin is apex predator in finance. Look at the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost of capital. Why would I hold this asset when in the same time period this is going to be a lot higher? Especially when you consider the risk on this is a lot less. Bitcoin. There's no tort risk, no scandal risk, no legislative risk, no weather risk, no hit by a bus risk. There's no supply risk. There's no tariff risk. You name it, because it's maths. Does maths care what the weather is? Does maths care what the politics are? Does maths care? Does physics care? Does gravity care? Who's in power? Does C++ code? Does it care who? Does it care? Does it care? I don't know. Does it care what the weather is? No. Interesting, quite powerful. But otherwise, Adrian's Daily Vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Subscribe for more, and you will see me tomorrow.